Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, the theme park evangelist. I'm a little tired right now, but I still need to go downstairs and make sure that my clothes go in the dryer before I get up in the morning. So, before I do go to bed, at least I did get some homework done before I started my YouTube channel. Thankfully, this week is a very easy week, so I figured since I don't have a lot of homework this week, I would be able to do a lot more working on my YouTube channel anyway, because of the fact that this week, literally, the only thing I have left to do is to type a really easy paper, just talking about a controversial, yeah, I said that right the first time, issue, either on my major or a major of interest that I have. And of course, the interest or major of my interest would have been ministry, of course, because that's what I really want to do with my life. And then I can easily think of 150 words or more to do on that. And then sociology, um, homework, I literally just have to read 16 pages, which to me is not bad. And then after that, I just have to do an online discussion and I'm done. Literally this week, I can get all that done in no time. I'm going to get the English homework done tomorrow night, and then Tuesday through Saturday, I'm going to work on the sociology homework slowly but surely over the week. Now, next week's going to be really interesting because of the fact that I have like 50 pages to read for sociology, and I'm just like, and then of course I've got to read some for English, and then the professor really wants a well developed one paragraph on gun control. The reference that we have to use is from CNN. And of course, I'm just dying inside, literally. I'm not even joking. And I don't mean dying as in laughing. I'm dying inside of, like, you've got to be kidding me. First of all, I am pro gun up to a point. I would not say I'm anti gun, but I wouldn't say I'm pro gun either. I'm pro gun up to the point, to a point, as in I'm not against it, but I'm not completely for it. I'm neutral about guns, and I definitely don't believe in gun control, and I'll say that right now. But yeah, I'm kind of cringing at next week on doing that, and then of course the reading of the 50 pages. I'm hoping that my schedule next week will, Myra at least, won't be terrible. I know that not I don't believe it was this Friday that I scheduled my eye doctor appointment for. I think it might have been, but I'll have to check my calendar because I have an email for it. But regardless, if it was, I believe it was this Friday, I have an eye doctor appointment for next Friday. I'm hoping that I will once again be able to go in at 10 in the morning, or sorry, 11 in the morning, so that way I can make it to my eye doctor appointment before I go to work, because that would suck if I end up having a different schedule next week. So I'm hoping I'll have the same exact schedule again next week, and this way I can make sure that I get some homework done every single night. Like, I'm going to be doing so much reading next week, it's insane. So anyway, so enough of that about that chit chat. So tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about how the pandemic has gotten better since last year. Obviously, you can tell I'm getting ready for bed because I'm not wearing my glasses, and I don't usually YouTube with my glasses off, but today I'm making an exception, unless of course I'm wearing a mask or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about how things are definitely have been better this year versus last year. So of course, it is almost Easter Monday. Easter Sunday is almost completely done. So, I was thinking all day today And it's not just me, but a lot of people have been thinking about the fact that, dang, we were stuck at home on Easter Sunday last year. Um, I know last year I was off from Meyer because I have been getting Sundays and Mondays off, which is a huge blessing, and I can't, stress enough how much I appreciate that. And I remember we were living in Ellesmere at the time, and we ended up watching the service online, and then I don't remember what we did after that. I remember my parents did buy like a ham or whatever from Meyer. We did have a Easter dinner later that evening, and that was pretty much the most exciting thing we did all day. I wouldn't say that Easter was the most exciting last year. I'm really glad that we did at least get to watch the service, but things really changed a lot this year. I would say that I really liked Easter this year. I'm indecisive if I've liked Easter better here or in Central Florida. I mean, I really liked being able to go to Bok Tower Gardens and volunteer over there, and then they serve us this huge breakfast. And I remember my last year volunteering there, which was back in 2019. They had like pancakes and the whole nine yards, and they had it all set up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're just trying to be different this year." Kind of glad they did too, because they probably couldn't do the whole Easter sunrise service last year at all, and then they probably try to do it again this year. But I don't even know. I mean, I never even heard anything about the Easter sunrise service from Bok Tower Gardens this year. I never even got any emails, because they still get their emails every single week or whatever. So who knows? They may not even have done a Bok Tower Garden Easter sunrise service this year, for all I know. But I was really thankful to work at the Ark Encounter. It was kind of cool. I saw a lot of people coming in their Easter outfits, and they're just walking around the Ark. Some people were just dressed very casually, and they all came in for lunch pretty much at the same time. And there was like pockets. It was definitely a little busier than an average Sunday. But today went by really fast. They had some different foods out today that they normally would not have out on a Sunday. And they had a lot more free food for the employees, which was really, really nice. I really like the fact that they give us, in food and beverage, all this free food. And my dad's definitely considering more and more to come work at the Ark Encounter, which, I'm praying and hoping that he will eventually make his final decision what's best for him to do. But a year ago, the Ark Encounter wasn't even open, or even the Creation Museum for that matter. It was pretty much essential businesses only. I mean, for an entire year, we were at a reduced capacity for retail, and we were forced to count literally like every single customer that walked in and out the store. It was insane. And some customers would tease us and say, "I'm going to walk in and out over and over again just to make you count me going in and out." And they were just having way too much fun with it. And back about a few weeks ago, we actually did away with the whole counting thing. And I never thought I would ever see that. And I haven't had the chance to tell TJ this yet, but I walked into UDF tonight. United Dairy Farmers is which is actually what that stands for. UDF is United Dairy Farmers. And it is a gas station on also an ice cream parlor. 2-in-1. It's a Cincinnati-based gas station. And I walked in there, and normally there would be like floor markings showing you need to be 6 feet apart, and it would go around the entire store, and everybody would be forced to walk through this. Well, I didn't notice it right away, because I just kind of walked all the way over and got myself a little quick drink. And I walked straight forward like I normally would if I were in line to get myself a drink. I thought I was in line. Then I looked down and realized the floor markings were no longer there. And I'm looking all over the store. Where are the floor markings? There were no more floor markings. They must have gotten rid of those not too long ago. And I was like, okay, so I look outside. Well, that's interesting. They still have a sign that says only 16 people are allowed in the store at a time, but honestly, they're not even enforcing it. They never were. And I'm surprised that they still even have that sign up, but they're not even enforcing it anymore. Especially now that the 6 foot markings are already gone. That's a good sign. I mean, it's a really good sign. If they've already gotten rid of the 6 feet apart signs at the gas station, then maybe they'll eventually get to the point where they'll get rid of it, the like restaurants and retail stores and stuff like that. That would be great to see. Just found out this morning that churches and schools can start allowing more people. So my church is going to be using some of the unused sections for a while to allow more people to sit. We're still supposed to keep people 6 feet apart just for the time being, just until things do eventually get better. But we are going to be allowed to see more people. I don't know what they're going to be doing with the schools, but yes, schools have been open since last summer sometime, and that's a very good sign that schools are open. They're not closing the schools anymore. Restaurants in Kentucky have been 50% capacity since Christmas. My dad said, oh, they'll close them again right before Christmas. They never did. They closed it one more time and reopened it right before Christmas, and they have not closed since. So I'm very happy about that as well. Trying to think here. I actually heard that Ohio literally just reopened, or is it just about to reopen their state again? I heard that they got closed down again versus Kentucky. On the other hand, has not done anything like that. So I guess right after I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last November, they closed down the entire state. So Ohio is kind of still on lockdown. There's not a lot of things you can do. You can still go to the grocery store. You can still go out to eat. But otherwise, there's not a lot you can do in Ohio. I don't know the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is open again. I'm assuming it is. But they're very strict in Ohio because Governor Mike DeWine has no choice. There's a lot of cases, and their positivity rate is very high. Indiana is not doing very well either, from what I've heard. And of course, I'm not saying this is necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but they are not enforcing masks versus Kentucky still is, which is really interesting. Not to be political or anything, I still think that masks should be required for a little while longer, but it's getting to the point where, me personally, I believe that Bashir should eventually go back to basically just saying that face masks should be optional. Like the businesses should basically get to the point where they should still put up signs that say that you should still wear a face mask, but you're no longer required to do it. Like no more government mandate anymore. TJ is still trying to find ways to get me to move back to Florida, even going as far as trying to get me to wear my Trump gear in front of Andy Bashir, or do anything I can to annoy Andy Bashir to the point where he'll ban me from living in this state and I'm forced to go move back to Florida. TJ is hilarious because he just misses me being in Florida so much that he will literally come up with every excuse in the book to get me to move back. And I'm just thinking to myself, you just do not quit. Even though I've made it very clear to him I love it up here, he still doesn't. Basically, he doesn't care that I'm happy up here because he's not happy. So unless he's happy, then he's never going to give up. He doesn't really care about my happiness. And I don't know if that makes him a true friend or not, but what do I know? He does have really bad autism, though, so I try to look at it that way. But, Yeah, I know that Florida has been open for quite a while, and I know that Florida's COVID cases are very high. I don't know though if Florida has a high positivity rate or not. I hear that Florida is doing very well from my conservative friends. Of course, the liberal friends and family are going to be like, "Oh no, Florida's doing really bad," and then of course you're going to hear from some people around here that Florida is an awful place to go to versus some people are like, oh, Florida is wonderful. I mean, I really do strongly believe that face masks, like, or for example, are not just something that people do out of respect, or like, well, I shouldn't say that. I feel like face masks are not something that people just wear out of respect for people. I feel like it's getting to the point where face masks are also becoming a political debate. I'm not even kidding. Um, just based on the power of my observation, I've seen that people on the liberal side of the coin tend to value face masks to the point where they're even wearing them in their cars. Like, just working at Meyer, for example, I see some people that just don't care about the masks. You get the employees, most of them are like very pro mask, especially the management. Like, oh my goodness, most of the upper management are so strict about masks. And then, of course, you're gonna get a good chunk of customers are just absolutely terrified of this virus. And when you go to a place like Meyer, you're gonna think like this pandemic is far from over, and then you go to a place that's more conservative. I'm not going to mention names or anything, but like, well, definitely Florida for sure, but that's as far as I'm going. But even here in Kentucky, there are conservative places around, and then you'll find that everybody, including employees and managers, and most of the customers, feel the same exact way. And then you're confused because, like, me, for example, I'm used to a liberal environment. And then if I were to go somewhere else where they don't care so much about face masks, once again, not mentioning names, um, it's really hard to swallow. It's one of those things that's like, you know, why is it one extreme over here, but not so much on the other end? Like, was with that. And, you know, a year ago, when the pandemic was going on, you know, everybody was very pro mask and everybody was screaming and yelling at you, stay 6 feet apart. Now, people just don't care so much anymore. I'll literally stand right next to someone, whether they have COVID or not. And I'm hoping they don't anyway. I mean, I really do. Hope they don't have COVID and they don't care. They're like, oh, come on over. I know I'm not gonna bite. I mean, for all you know, there might be people that are walking around the grocery store that might have been around people with COVID, but they feel like it's the only time they're ever gonna get out of their house, even though there are these grocery delivery services, and now you have programs that offer to bring the groceries to your car if you park your car in the parking lot and you order the groceries ahead of time. This is stuff that was never available 2 years ago and just started becoming available like a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. Kroger, I don't know when they got it, but I know they had it a year ago. And then Meyer was forced to get it because they saw that it was the only way for them to be able to survive when the pandemic was going on. When I first started working for Meyer back in 2019, if this says anything about how much the pandemic has even changed Meyer, for example, you were forced to come in and get your groceries. We did have shipped, and that was about all we had. That was literally the only delivery service we had. We had no way of getting your groceries delivered. You couldn't pick up your groceries in the parking lot. Like, someone wouldn't bring your groceries to you. We didn't, so clickless as the program was thinking about. We didn't have any of that 2 years ago. And then last year, we got DoorDash, we got ClickList, we got and then we partnered up with Shipped More, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll be more than happy to deliver groceries to people's houses." And we're like, "Great, this is awesome!" So now you can get groceries delivered to your house as of last year, and now we've partnered up recently with Instacart. So now we have all these different programs. Um, Here's another thing that will shock a lot of you. Remember when Uber was big, like back in the day? Um, as of last year, Uber doesn't really, Uber went down basically the dump, the drain, or whatever you want to call it, because nobody was really wanting to get in someone else's car with a pandemic going on. Everybody, like last year, everybody was like, "Oh, why would I want to do that?" The online delivery service that suddenly just became super popular out of nowhere that I never would have expected was DoorDash, which I was just talking about. And not just DoorDash, but Grubhub and Uber Eats. All of a sudden, all these got really popular and have been ever since. And it's so weird because, maybe back a couple of years ago even, we would, use these delivery services on the odd occasion, but most people were like really keen about like, oh yeah, I'll go through the drive-through or I'll go and pick it up myself and all that. But nowadays it's more convenient, and not just convenient but safer for people to get your food delivered to your door. And of course, it's so weird now because when these apps were out back a couple of years ago, I mean, obviously these have been around for numerous years. Back in the day, they would ring your doorbell and they would hand you your food, right? So, back then, when like YouTubers like Mr. Nightmare or Creepypasta Jr. would tell you like scary DoorDash stories, yeah, maybe back then these stories could scare a DoorDash driver because of the fact that you physically back then had to hand the food to somebody. But these days is no longer required, and also is frowned upon for you to hand someone their food because of safety issues. And it's so weird just because of the pandemic last year. I mean, even this year, I've seen just on DoorDash and even pizza websites, like these pizza company websites, that they're still offering the whole contactless delivery and all that fun stuff. And from what I've even seen, they're not even allowing you to even physically hand it to the person. Like, just for the fun of it, I asked DoorDash to please physically hand my brother his Chick-fil-A. And DoorDash went above and beyond that last time, so I was kind of interested. So they left the food at the door, which I shouldn't have expected anything less of that, because they probably looked at my request and they're like, "Ugh, if a pandemic going on, no thank you." Even though things have been getting better, the person was still like, "No, I don't want to hand somebody food. Like, what if that person has COVID? Like, no, I'm not going to do that." So the person instead left the food at the door, or probably knocked or whatever. I mean, they send you multiple text messages, so it's not like you don't know when it's there. And my brother is constantly on his phone, so it's not like he doesn't even know when it's going to be there. And he already even knew when it was coming. And I got an email about it, and I looked at it, and they actually took a picture of the food and put it in the email and said, "Look, there it is. There's your food. There's the door." And sure enough, that's how they left it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. I was a little disappointed that they didn't hand it to him, but I mean, I get it. You might get that odd occasional person that might be sure I'll physically hand it, but they would rather not. I remember one time we had DoorDash deliver some wings, and the girl must have been in such a hurry she actually left her face mask on the straw. That is so gross. Thankfully, the straw was still in its wrapping, but still, ugh. The other thought that came to my mind was, why were you even wearing a face mask? Were you wearing it while you were driving? Were you wearing it walking up to the door? Did you expect one of us to walk out even though we asked you to just please leave it at the door? Like, why were you wearing a mask? And this was not too long ago either, if it came down to it. I went and got pizza for the Super Bowl, and of course, every time I've gotten pizza, I've always gone into the store myself, and of course, every time I've ordered pizza through the website, as I said, they always ask you, "Do you want to do contactless curbside pickup?" Which means they'll literally bring it right to your car and they'll hand it to you. I've actually tried this with McDonald's. I've gone to McDonald's a couple of times and I've done the whole curbside pickup. So they don't hand it to you like they used to. Some of them do, but I've actually seen some of them go as far as to try not to physically touch your hands. I remember one time I ordered this really big breakfast because I was like really hungry that day, and they put everything in this bag and they carefully tried to hand me the bag without actually touching my hands. And once again, this was not too long ago, and I'm thinking to myself, why are we still treating everything like we're still in last year when this is 2021 now, when things are getting better, but at the same time, you're still going to get those people that are in fear. And the reason for this video is to talk about the fact that yes, things are better this year. I wanted to ask you guys, at the very end, have you guys seen any positive changes since last year? Have you guys experienced any of the same things that I have, where you're going through these normal life situations, but you still have to deal with all these same things on a regular basis because of the fact that we're still supposed to treat life like we're still in 2020? Is 2021 basically just 2020 in disguise without the severity of 2020 around? Is that basically how we're supposed to treat this year? And I would say my last question for you guys is, how's your work handling COVID still? Like where I work, you get your temperature checked sometimes twice, as crazy as it is. You have to be completely COVID symptom free. You have to be completely symptom free, not to mention, and everybody in your household has to be completely symptom free. If anybody in your household has any kind of symptoms, that has to be reported immediately, and of course that will kick you out of work completely for 10 days. It's insane. So of course you never know when one of your roommates or whatever might have been exposed to somebody at one point, like family or friends, and brought home, especially if you live with people that may not communicate with you as much. So you'd be surprised later on when you find out, oh, you guys are sick, like, what's going on? And then if it's just a cold, okay, well, that's not a big deal. But if you're, like, experiencing the flu, well, guess what? I'm out of work for 10 days. Because that's the way Meyer is, so. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, that's really all I can tell you guys about Meyer. Unfortunately, they are taking this whole COVID thing very, very strictly and seriously. It's aggravating, it's annoying, it's frustrating, but what are you going to do, and my video is going past the 30-minute mark. I pretty much went over everything I wanted to talk about tonight. I think sometime this week I will do another Answers in Genesis video, which will talk about what it was like to work at the Ark Encounter on Easter Sunday. And I do believe that will be my next Answers in Genesis YouTube video for this week. And also, this week I would like to do another Life as a Working Disney cast member video. So Saturday I do get off at 4:30, but I want to go get a haircut, and then I'm probably just gonna go home. So I unfortunately don't have time to go to the Ark Encounter because of the fact that it closes at 7, and I wouldn't even get off until close to 5. So I wouldn't even get there on time. More than likely what's going to end up happening is, just to remind you guys before I end this video, the next time I would make it to the Ark Encounter as a guest would be the next time I happen to go in at 6 in the morning, whether it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or even a Saturday, and the Ark Encounter just happens to close at 7 still. The other possibility I have for you guys is, after college is done, like literally a week or so after college is done, the Ark Encounter and both the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum start opening an extra hour later, or sort of stay open an extra hour later until 8. And that will help me immensely in determining whether I want to make the effort to go out there, especially if I still get out at 4:30. So that would still give me time to make it all the way out there. As long as I I'm so sorry. It's like after midnight right now. I'm very sure it is. Yeah, it is. Actually, almost midnight. So not as bad as I thought, but yeah. Let's say, for example, I did work till 4:30 on a Saturday, and the Ark stayed up until 8. That means that I more than likely would just bring an extra shirt with me. I would still wear my pants, my work pants, which does not bother me all that much. And then I would drive all the way out there. And then I would have about 3 hours or so out there. And honestly, that to me is not, and to me that's not a big deal, because I can quickly go get something to eat from Zara's if I want, or I can go to sorry, I almost said McDougal's, but which is what I call McDonald's, and then I can go straight to the Ark. The only thing that I would even end up paying for if I ever went to the Ark Encounter is if I bought any food. That would be about it, and of course gas. It would be the only other thing I would have spent any kind of money on. But honestly, I only fill up like once or twice a week, so that's not even that bad at all. Because right now, I'm paying about $15 to $20 a week on gas, and that's actually pretty decent. Considering I have a Ford Focus that's flex fuel, so. But yeah, honestly, I would rather go to the Ark Encounter for about 2.5 hours to 3 hours versus getting out there and oops, I only have 2 hours. That's really not worth going out there just for 2 hours. But 2.5 to 3 hours, I can live with that. Especially when you get free parking and free admission. Like, come on, that's not that bad. So, I will see you guys in the next vlog sometime later this week. Probably not tomorrow night, just because of the fact that I'm going to be doing English. More than likely, the next time I will see you guys is Tuesday night, because I believe my dad is off that night. And my brother usually goes over to my parents' house on Tuesday night, so I will see you guys on Tuesday night in my brother's room, the basement, where I can have the recliner and I can actually sit comfortably and YouTube better, and I'll more than likely be using my laptop that night, not my phone. And it worked tonight to use my phone because I was trying to kill it anyway. And I'll be able to talk a little louder because I'll be by myself downstairs where nobody can really hear me anyway. So always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great night. Happy Easter once again. Hope you guys had a great Easter. Peace out. Oh, and peace out.